Estás escuchando Vaughan Radio.
Speaking with Confidence with Ale.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Speaking with Confidence. I'm Ale, and as always, this is your hour to practice English, to build up your confidence so you can use English properly. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing fine. And you?
I'm doing good. How was your weekend?
It was a very normal weekend. I didn't do anything special, so...
So you just had a calm weekend then?
Yes.
Yeah? All right. Well, that's also good, right?
Yes.
All right. So today, I want to start with a very simple question. And listen to this. What makes a place feel like home? What makes a place feel like home? And if you were to answer this question, what would you say? Is it furniture? Is it people? Is it maybe the silence after a long day at work? Or sometimes you can even think about the smell of coffee in the morning. Or is it that feeling of closing the door when you come home and you say, finally, I can relax? What is home for you then? Or what can you call home?
I think it's the people.
Is the people?
Yes.
All right, yeah. That is an absolutely valid question. And home is a very interesting place because it's not just where we sleep or where we rest, as Dan says, it's the people, right? And also the people we argue with, the place where we argue with these people, the place where we forget things, where we remember things, where we plan things, where we fail to do things. So, as you can hear, home is that place where problems happen. But this is a good thing, especially because this is the first place in life where you learn how to solve and handle situations, problems, deal with difficulties, and so on. Reason why we should never hide those problems or ignore them. But this can sometimes happen. Sometimes we can see little warnings before a problem gets bigger, but we choose to ignore these warnings with little things, with simple things, like the kitchen being a mess. And we see that, but we prefer to ignore it. Or maybe there's tension in the family and nobody talks about it. Or maybe something that needs fixing and we say, I'll do it later. And then later becomes tomorrow and tomorrow becomes next week and so on. And then it becomes a bigger setback, right? And that's normal, I would say, having problems at home. Because home is where real life happens. It's not always perfect. It's not always clean. It's not always peaceful. And sometimes it gives us comfort. Sometimes can also show us what we need to change, what we could change, and what we could have changed. So today we are going to talk about home, the place where we notice maybe little clues, little hints. We feel the pressure. We make excuses. We take risks. And in the end, we sometimes realize that we could have done things differently as well. And that's what we're going to work on today. We're going to use the grammar could and could have. That structure that can help us talk about this topic. And so get ready. Dan, you ready?
Yes.
All right, so let's begin our lesson today. So before we move into the grammar today, as always, let's build a vocabulary that we are going to need for this conversation. So useful words. Why are we going to work on some certain words? Because when we talk about home, as I said, it's not just to talk about rooms or furniture or decoration. We're not talking about the house itself. We're going to talk about small situations that happen inside the house, right? Relationships and pressure and excuses and effort and so on. So let's see. Let's begin with our first out of 8 words today. And the first one is shortcut. Shortcut. And this is a noun. And we've worked with this word before. Shortcut is an easier way to do something. Easier and maybe faster way to do something. And in Spanish, this would be what?
Atajo.
Yeah, right. Shortcut. So we can say maybe something like this. A shortcut is not always the best solution at home. A shortcut is not always the best solution at home. But what am I talking about? You know, when sometimes this happens to me. I don't know if it happens at home, at your house, Dan, but sometimes I don't feel like cooking. As you know, I don't like to cook. And so what I do is I take a shortcut. What shortcut is that? What do I mean by that? I order food. And what kind of food is easier to order? What kind of food is easier to order, Dan?
Fast food.
Fast food, yeah. And so it's not always the best solution, but it is a shortcut. So in the end, it helps, however, not always the best solution. All right, shortcut. Word number 2 is warning. Warning. And this is a noun. And a warning is a sign that tells you something may go wrong, right? A sign that tells you something may go wrong. And in Spanish, this is...
Aviso.
Yes, advertencia, aviso, right. So we can say, that strange noise was the first warning. That strange noise was the first warning. All right, word number 3. Do you remember when your parents used to give you a last warning when you behaved bad?
Yes.
Yeah. Did they give you warnings?
Yes.
Did they have to?
Sadly, yes.
Yeah. My parents would give my brother warnings because he was a wild child. I wasn't so much of a wild child. Maybe a teenager, but not when I was little. So, but yes, my brother would get, this is the last warning, they would say. Right? Última vez que te digo. That's a warning. All right. And I use it with my own daughters. La última vez que te digo, Maya or Sara, depending on who's doing what. All right. Next word today is risk. Risk. And this is also a noun. And a risk is, how do we describe this then? How can you help me? A risk is the possibility of something bad happening, of a bad result. Do you think that's correct?
Yes.
Yeah?
I was thinking it that way.
All right, okay. So that could be it, right? The possibility of something wrong happening or a bad result. And in Spanish, that is...
Riesgo.
Riesgo, exactly. Leaving the problem for later is a real risk. Leaving the problem for later is a real risk. Do you think this is true?
Yes.
Yeah?
Most of the times it is.
Most of the times it is. I think it's always a bad idea. Leaving the problems for later. Putting them under the rug. Forgetting about them. Trying to do things as normal. Right? I think it's a bigger risk because problems just accumulate. Anyway, let's go to another word, and this is excuse. Excuse. And this is a noun. And an excuse is a reason we give to explain or avoid something. A reason we give to explain something. To explain or avoid something or justify something. Our behavior, for example. In Spanish, this is?
Excusa.
Excusa. One excuse can be, I'm too tired. Right? That's an excuse. Or another excuse is, I forgot. What kind of excuses do you use, Dan? Honestly.
Well, I don't know. If I don't do something, I just admit that I didn't do it.
So you're very honest.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, let me think of something. Yeah, I have this is the one excuse that I use at home, on a daily, I don't know. Yes, I have to say, on a daily basis. I tell my family, I say, I'm too tired to cook. That is the one thing I dislike to do out of the many things that you have to do at home. De todas las cosas en la casa, cocinar es lo que menos me gusta. Lo que no me gusta, ni siquiera menos, lo que no me gusta, en absoluto. Entonces, pongo siempre como excusa esta, I'm too tired to cook. Or I also say, I don't know what to cook. You cook the best. You know, you cook better than me. Y bueno, I'm always making up excuses so I don't have to cook. All right, next word today is clue. Clue. And this is a noun, and clue is a small sign that helps you understand something. A small sign that helps you understand something or discover something, maybe. In Spanish, that is?
Pista.
Pista, yes. All right. Next word is effort. Effort. And this is a noun. You are familiar with this noun. Effort is the energy you use to do something difficult, right? The energy you use to do something difficult. And in Spanish, that is?
Esfuerzo.
Yes. Keeping a home organized takes a lot of effort. Keeping a home organized takes a lot of effort. Let's continue. Our next word is setback. Setback. And setback is a noun. And a setback can be defined as a problem that slows you down. A problem that slows you down. Setback. So in Spanish, this could be?
I don't know.
Contratiempo.
Contratiempo.
Yes, setback. A problem that slows you down. Un contratiempo. The broken washing machine was a setback. The broken washing machine was a setback. Un contratiempo es tener la lavadora de ropa. La máquina lavadora. All right. Our final word today is pressure. Pressure. And you are very familiar with this word. We've used it many times before. This is a noun, and pressure is stress from a situation or a responsibility, or work. Anything can feel like pressure. And in Spanish, there's this?
Presión.
Yes. So the pressure at home felt heavy last week. The pressure at home felt heavy last week. All right. So let's go over our list one last time before we move on to our practice. So let's see. First word is shortcut. Warning. Risk. Excuse. Clue. Effort. Setback. And pressure. All right. Dan, would you like to translate?
Yes.
All right. Okay, no peeking, right?
No.
No peeking. All right, so let's see. Pista.
Club.
Atajo.
Shortcut.
Advertencia.
Warning.
Esfuerzo.
Effort.
Contratiempo.
Setback.
Yes. Riesgo.
Risk.
Presión.
Pressure.
Contratiempo.
Setback.
All right. That's a new word, no? I
Yes,
think that's a new word for us, like for the show. I don't think we've ever used this word, setback. I like this word, the sound of this word, setback. Instead of saying problem, we could say setback. Oh, I've had a setback. Okay, so let's begin with our practice. And what are we going to do? We are going to check our definitions, and you tell me if it's true or false. All right? So out there for you listeners, pay close attention and say if it's true or false when you hear the definition. A shortcut is a way to do something with fewer steps. A shortcut is a way to do something with fewer steps. True or false?
That's true.
It is absolutely true. Fewer steps, then that means it's a shortcut. All right. Another one. A warning is something that tells you to pay attention before a problem gets worse. A warning is something that tells you to pay attention before a problem happens or before it gets worse.
That's true.
That is also true. Yes. Warning. Let's see another one. A risk means everything is completely safe. A risk means everything is completely safe.
That's false.
That is false. Why is that false?
Because a risk is a warning that something bad may happen.
Yes, that something wrong may happen, right? It's a possibility that if you take a risk or if you're at risk, something wrong might happen. Okay. An excuse is a reason someone gives or someone gives to justify something else. Yes, that's okay. All right, let me say that again. An excuse is a reason someone gives to justify their behavior. Is this true or false?
It's true.
It is true. Yes, it is true. Okay, another one. Effort means doing nothing and waiting. Effort means doing nothing and waiting. True or false?
That's false.
That is false. Why is that false?
Effort means doing something and keep trying it.
Yes. Doing something and keep trying and keep trying. It takes work when you put effort into something. That means you're doing the work. All right. A clue is a small piece of information that helps you understand the situation. A clue is a small piece of information that helps you understand the situation. Would you say this is true?
Yes, I say that's true.
Yes. A very small piece of information. Clue. All right. And, well, a setback is a problem that makes progress difficult. A setback is a problem that makes progress difficult. Is this true or false?
That's true.
It is also true, yes. It's a problem that makes progress more difficult. And finally, pressure means stress caused by expectations or problems or responsibilities. Pressure means stress caused by expectations, problems, or responsibilities. True or false?
That's true.
Yes, of course it is true, yeah. Have you felt any pressure lately?
No, I don't think I've felt pressure these days.
Oh, you are a lucky man, I would say.
Yes, maybe. Have you felt pressure?
Oh, yes. Yes, I have. But you know what the latest was? Did you participate in this contest?
Well, yes.
You did?
Yes.
Okay.
But I didn't put too much effort in it.
Oh, okay. You didn't put too much effort in it. Well, to be honest, I felt a little pressure because I turned it in at the last minute because I was busy doing something else. And my partner had already finished her part of the project, and I needed to work on mine, and I was running out of time, so I did feel pressure right there. But we worked it out, and we were able to submit it in time. All right, let's move from definitions to real situations at home. Remember those words: shortcut, warning, risk, excuse, clue, effort, setback, and pressure. That's our list today. So listen to this. We're talking about home today. The baby suddenly became very quiet in the living room. The baby suddenly became very quiet in the living room. That something was happening. That something was happening. I would say not the baby, the toddler. Toddler, do you know the word in Spanish? Toddler.
No.
Toddler is child, 2, 3, 4 years old. That is a toddler. I would say 3, up to 3, toddler. Un niño pequeño, toddler. So suddenly when the toddler became very quiet in the living room. So that was that something was happening. Which of the words would you use?
That was a clue.
Yes, that was a clue that something was happening. And as a parent, you would know, or uncle or cousin or anything, really, that when kids are playing in the other room and you don't hear them anymore, then you get a little bit concerned, worried, preocupado, porque no escuchas ruido, no está pasando nada en la otra habitación. Has dejado a tus niños pequeños jugando, pero hay silencio de repente. And you think, oh, something's happening. Algo está pasando, right? Did that ever happen with your parents, or did they ever mention that? That's like a common discussion at home, like a common conversation, right?
Yes, yes.
Let's see. Okay, so yes, that was a clue that something was happening. All right, let's do another one. They left the window open during a storm. They left the window open during the storm. That was a serious... What could fit in here?
Risk.
Yes. Why is that a risk? That was a serious risk. Correct.
Because your house will get flooded.
Yes, will get flooded. Yeah. All right. So they left the window open during a storm. That was a serious risk. Let's try another one. He put everything under the bed instead of cleaning properly. That was I'll say that again. He put everything under the bed instead of cleaning properly. That was in today's context of talking about home and problems.
I would say shortcut.
Yes, good. That was a shortcut. Do you do this?
No.
You don't?
I'm not going to say it on the radio, no.
Well, you don't do this. Yes, we all know that. But kids do. Kids we would say that they do this, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's do another one. She said, I forgot. But everyone knew it was just an. It was just an. Let me say that again. She said, I forgot. But everyone knew it was just an
excuse.
An excuse, yes. And Dan says he doesn't make up any excuses. He just comes up front and says, oh, I fell asleep and I didn't do it, or anything. Yeah? All right. Okay. All right. So let's do the last one. The dog kept looking at the door. That was the first. That something was outside. And we're repeating the word here. The dog kept looking at the door. That was the first. That something was outside.
That was the first clue.
The first clue. Yes. All right. So we're going to go on a small break. And when we come back, we'll move into today's grammar focus, which is could plus a verb and could have plus a past participle. Two simple but very powerful structures to talk about possibilities now and possibilities in the past that no longer exist. So stay with me. This is Speaking with Confidence, and we will be right back.
Lo que oyes.
You're listening to the right radio. You're listening to Vaughan Radio.
You're listening to Vaughan Radio.
El inglés que necesitas ahora por mucho menos. Llega al outlet de Vaughan con libros y cursos de autoestudio que siguen más vigente que nunca.
Objetivo Inglés, Vaughan Certified completo, Speak English Now e Inglés en 10 pasos.
Además, libros desde €1.
Novelas con audio desde $3.50.
Libros infantiles desde €3.
Y mucho más.
Entra en vaughantienda.com.
Vaughan Outlet, aprende más.
Pagando menos hasta agotar existencias.
Este verano, ¿quieres que tus hijos se diviertan, vivan 1000 aventuras y además ganen fluidez en inglés, rodeados de naturaleza y con los mejores monitores angloparlantes Vaughan? Tráelos a nuestro Vaughan Summer Camps, con cabañas, actividades acuáticas, multiaventura, nuevos amigos y entornos increíbles donde aprenderán a resolver situaciones cotidianas en inglés sin darse cuenta. Más de 3.000 niños viven nuestras inversiones cada año. Encuentra tu mejor Summer Camp sin salir de España. Contrata tu mejor camp.
Come to learn with us at Vaughan. ¿Te apuntas?
¿Quieres mejorar tu inglés sin complicaciones? Vaughan Inglés 4.0 es el curso de inglés más completo en formato audio, con casi 600 clases desde cero hasta nivel avanzado. Paso a paso, donde y cuando quieras. Claro, práctico y eficaz. Gramática, vocabulario, pronunciación y sobre todo, resultados. Busca nuestro podcast Vaughan Inglés 4.0 en iVoox.
Encuentra todos los libros de nuestros presentadores de radio en las tiendas Vaughan. Nosotros te ayudamos a encontrar el libro perfecto para ti, para todos los niveles y edades. También encontrarás libros de alemán, francés y mucho más. Estamos en calle Orense 75, en Madrid, o en nuestras 6 delegaciones por España. Ven a vernos o visita vaughantienda.com. Vaughan, learn English.
Estas vacaciones, haz un viaje para tu inglés. Con los cursos intensivos semanales de Vaughan, mejora tu inglés durante cualquier periodo vacacional. Navidad, Semana Santa, verano, tú decides cuándo. Una semana para mejorar tu fluidez. Gana confianza al hablar. Aprovecha tu tiempo libre al máximo. Y lo mejor es que puedes reservar tu curso desde ya para asegurarte tu plaza en el momento que prefieras. No dejes pasar la oportunidad de avanzar en tu inglés estas vacaciones. Entra en grupovaughan.com/intensivos y contrata tu semana intensiva hoy mismo, porque tu inglés también merece unas vacaciones.
En Vaughan hay un antes y un después. El antes es inseguridad, titubeo, fastidio. El después es confianza, convicción y arrojo. Y esto en solo 6 días.
El mayor ambiente lingüístico jamás creado, con la mayor variedad de acentos nativos nunca antes reunidos. Vaughan Town, el pueblo anglo de Vaughan. Vaughan Town. Rechaza imitaciones. Infórmate en el 911-335833.
Vaughan Town. Cambia tu inglés ya.
Aprender inglés nunca fue tan fácil. Vaughan Talkmaster está siempre contigo, en el metro, en casa o en el trabajo. Practica donde quieras, cuando quieras, desde entrevistas hasta negociaciones. Mejora tu inglés con nuestra inteligencia artificial adaptativa. Entra en talkmaster.es, descarga la app y prueba gratis durante una semana. Tú decides cómo y cuándo mejorar.
Speaking with Confidence with Ale.
Welcome back to Speaking with Confidence. Today we are talking about home, and we mentioned before the break that home is not just a place, a physical place, but it's a place full of habits, full of memories, full of decisions, full of moments where we sometimes look back on. And before we move on to our grammar, I'd like to share a fact about life with you. This is a very kind of like common sense kind of fact, but it's important, I feel. One of the reasons a place begins to feel like home, Dan said, is the people, but it's also familiarity. Familiaridad. La familiaridad es lo que hace que un lugar se sienta casa, ¿no? O se sienta hogar. Familiarity. Our brain feels calmer when it recognizes patterns like the same door, the same sofa, the same smell, the same route from the kitchen to your bedroom, even things like the same cup you use every morning. Of course, the same people, right? The same people you see every day. Those little details may seem ordinary, but they give your brain, our brain, a sense of orientation. And I don't know if this happens to you, Dan, but for me, coming home from a bad day or after a bad day or after a long day, coming home can change the way I feel. Does that happen to you?
Yes.
Yeah. And why does this happen? Because a familiar space like that with familiar people helps your body slow down, helps you calm down. And also, this is why when you change your house, when you change houses, when you move to another place, can feel very emotional. You become attached to the physical space, right? Changing house can do that. Or even changing furniture can feel strange at the beginning because the brain needs to create new patterns and new routes and new routines and new memories. So home is not just a physical place. It's a place our mind learns to read. And this could be why when we think about the places we've been in that we called home, we often think about what we did there and how we felt there and also how we could have written our story, la forma en cómo podríamos haber escrito nuestra historia en ese lugar, no por el lugar mismo, sino por la situación, la vida en el momento en ese lugar. So, every home carries a story. All right, now, back to our grammar focus. So, as I said, we talked about familiarity and we worked on some useful words. Now we're going to put all these ideas together and we are going to focus on two structures, and that is could and could have done. So let's begin with the first structure. Could plus the base verb, the base form of a verb. This could be any verb. Could, and for example, could clean. And when do we use this? We use could to talk about a possibility or a suggestion or an ability. The verb after could is always in the base form, all right? Not could to clean or could cleaned or could cleaning, but could clean, all right? So the pattern is like this. The subject, could, and the base verb. Let's see some examples. As I said, I could clean the kitchen later. So Pay attention. We're talking about a possibility, una posibilidad, una sugerencia o quizás también una habilidad. So, I could clean the kitchen later. We could move the sofa. Or they could stay at home tonight. And finally, she could help with dinner. En español, ¿qué diríamos? ¿Cómo traducimos? ¿Cuál es la traducción de could, Dan?
Podría.
Yes, podría o podrías, podríamos, podrían, más el verbo. All right? Si te digo, podría llamarlo, Dan would say,
I could call it. Call him or call her.
Call him, yes, exactly. Podríamos esperar.
We could wait.
We could wait. Podríamos intentarlo otra vez.
Could we try it again?
Well, if it was a question, which is really good. If it's a question, then you start with could. If it was a statement, podrías intentarlo otra vez.
You could try it again.
Exactly. You could try again, or you could try it again. The important idea is that could plus the verb often talks about something that is, it's still possible. Okay, maybe I will do it, maybe I won't, but the option is open. La opción está abierta, la posibilidad está abierta de que suceda o no suceda. I could organize the living room this afternoon. ¿Qué significa eso, Dan?
Podría organizar el salón esta tarde.
Como que no. Estoy dando a entender que podría hacerlo como podría no también, ¿no? Es una posibilidad. La opción, la posibilidad está ahí abierta. Second structure today is could have plus the past participle. And we use this to talk about a past possibility. Aquí es súper importante entender y escuchar esto. Es para hablar sobre una posibilidad en el futuro. We use it to talk about a past possibility. So, could, have, and also the past participle. Something was possible before, but it didn't happen. No ocurrió. Era posible, pero no ocurrió. Or we are not sure if it happened. Tampoco sabemos. Podría ser que no sabemos si ha ocurrido o no. All right? Today we are going to use it for things that were possible in the past, but didn't happen. Okay, vamos a trabajar en la posibilidad en el pasado que ahora mismo es inexistente. Existía esa posibilidad, pero no ocurrió. All right? The pattern is subject, could have, and past participle. All right? For example, listen to me carefully. I could have cleaned the kitchen earlier. I could have cleaned the kitchen earlier. What am I saying, Dan?
Podría haber limpiado la cocina antes.
Exacto, pero a lo mejor no lo he hecho, ¿no? We could have moved the sofa yesterday. We could have moved the sofa yesterday. What am I saying, Dan?
Podríamos haber movido el sofá ayer.
Exactamente. They could have stayed at home.
Podrían haberse quedado en casa.
Exacto. She could have helped with dinner.
Podría haber ayudado con la cena.
Yes, ella podría haber ayudado con la cena. So in Spanish, could have plus the past participle is often translated as what, Dan?
Podría.
Podría haber.
Podría haber.
Yes. Podría haber, o podrías haber, o podríamos haber, o también podrían haber, right? I could have called him, podría haberlo llamado, and I didn't. We could have waited, but we didn't. Or you could have tried again. Podrías haberlo intentado otra vez, but maybe you didn't. All right, so the important idea is that could have plus the past participle usually looks back. The moment has passed. Super important, the moment has passed. All right, so this one is talking about what could have been in the past. And the first structure is the possibility, is looking at the future. All right? Okay. So yesterday, if we're using could have, then we have to think that yesterday it was possible, but I didn't do it. All right. And now I'm looking back at it. Estoy fijando la mirada en lo que podría haber ocurrido. All right. Now, some verbs that we could use, some past participle, are these. Do and the past participle. Dan, do you want to help me with this?
Yes.
Do and the past participle of do is?
Done.
Done. Go and past participle?
Gone.
Gone. We could have gone home. Speak?
Spoken.
Spoken. She could have spoken to him. Take?
Taken.
Taken. They could have taken the keys. Make?
Made.
Made. I could have made dinner. Clean?
Cleaned. Cleaned.
Cleaned.
Cleaned.
Yes. So the first few are irregular verbs, and these next three are regular. Clean, cleaned, right? We could have cleaned the room. Call?
Called.
Called. You could have called me. And stay?
Stayed.
Stayed. We could have stayed inside. All right. Those are just some. As you know, the irregular verb list is longer than that. And, but you would have to memorize most of them. All right. Because there's no real rule for irregular verbs. Let's begin our practice. What do you say, Dan?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
You couldn't say no.
No, but I wanted.
All right. All right. So let's begin with our practice today. And we are going to start off with translations. All right. What are we going to do? We are probably going to be using useful words, our useful words, and of course our grammar today. So listen to this. Podríamos buscar un atajo más práctico.
We could search for a more practical shortcut.
Yes, very good. We could search for a more practical shortcut. Otra. Podríamos haber buscado un atajo más práctico.
We could have searched for a more practical shortcut.
Yes. And it is also very important that you pronounce the verb properly when you're using the past and when you're using the past participle. All right, very good. Next one. ¿Podrías prestar atención a esa advertencia?
You could have...
Future possibility. ¿Podrías, did I say that? Prestar atención. ¿Podrías prestar atención a esa advertencia?
You could pay attention to that warning.
Yes. And can you make that as a past possibility that didn't happen?
You could have paid attention to that warning.
Yes, exactly. Very good. Let's try another one. Ella podría reducir la presión en casa.
She could reduce the pressure at home.
And if we wanted to use the other structure?
She could have reduced the pressure at home.
Yes, excellent. She could have reduced. Very good. Ellos podrían evitar ese riesgo. Dije, podrían evitar ese riesgo.
They could avoid that risk.
Yes. And the other structure?
They could have avoided that risk.
Yes, very good. They could have avoided that risk. Very good. Yo podría hacer más esfuerzo esta semana.
I could make more effort this week.
Pero, ¿y la semana pasada?
I could make more effort last week.
Oh, yes.
I could have made more effort last week.
Yes, perfect. All right, very good. So you've practiced with both could and could have. Same idea, different times, right? Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to choose the correct structure. All right, listen to this. Listen carefully. Let me tell you how it's going to work. If I say, the hallway is full of bags right now. The hallway is full of bags right now. Then maybe we can say, we could clear it before lunch, Or, we could have cleared it before lunch yesterday. What would be the right structure? If the hallway is full of bags right now, I'll say the first option again. We could clear it before lunch, or we could have cleared it before lunch yesterday. So, the answer would be?
We could clear it before lunch.
Yes, because the action is still possible. There's still time. You can still do it, right? It's still possible. All right, so let's try with the next one. Listen to this. The family ignored the first warning about the heating system. The family ignored the first warning about the heating system. So, they could check it next week, or they could have checked it sooner.
They could have checked it sooner.
Yes, they could have checked it sooner. We're looking back at a past possibility. Estamos hablando sobre lo que podría haber ocurrido, pero no ocurrió. All right, next one. There is too much pressure at home this week. There's too much pressure at home this week. Answers. Options. You could ask for help to the children. You could ask for help with the children. Or you could have asked for help next week. Which one would be correct?
You could have asked for help to the children.
Well, let me say that again. There's too much pressure at home this week. You could ask for help with the children, or you could have asked for help next week.
You could ask for help with the children.
Yes, you could ask for help with the children. Que alguien nos ayude con los niños. Right? The option's still open. We're looking at the future. All right, next one. He missed an important clue about the leak. The leak is la gotera. Dan, is this how you would say in Spanish?
Yes.
Yes, okay. He missed an important clue about the leak. So options are, he could look under the sink tomorrow, or he could have looked under the sink before the floor got wet.
He could have looked under the sink before the floor got wet.
Yes, exactly. Yes. He missed an important clue about the leak. He could have looked under the sink sooner. No, the moment passed can no longer happen. All right, let's try another one. The flat feels disorganized today. The flat feels disorganized today. Flat or apartment. And options are, I could create a simple routine, or I could have created a simple routine next month. What would be better? The flat feels disorganized today. I could create a simple routine, or I could have created a simple routine next month.
I could create a simple routine.
Yes, because the other one is just not correct. I could have created a simple routine next month. That's two moments in time completely opposite to each other. So this is a present or future, near future possibility. I could create a simple routine. All right. And a final one is, listen to this. She used the same excuse all weekend and avoided the conversation. She used the same excuse all weekend and avoided the conversation. Two options. She could have been more honest, or she could have been more honest last Saturday.
She could have been more honest.
Yes, she could have been more honest, in period, right? We're talking about the past. All right, very good. So now that, what are we going to do next is simply build sentences. Let's keep on practicing. I think we're doing good. So how are we going to build sentences? As we always do, I give you 3 words and you put those words together, but you have to choose if you use could or could have. All right, so listen carefully. If I say, today, avoid that risk, you have to use either could or could have. Today, avoid that risk. Dan, you want to help me?
Today I could have avoided that risk.
All right, today I could have avoided that risk. Very good. And could we use it with could as well?
Today I could avoid that risk.
Yes. Today we could avoid that risk. Or we could put today at the end of the sentence. How would that sound?
I could avoid that risk today.
Yes, I could avoid that risk today. Yeah, very good. All right, let's try another one. Last week, notice and warning. Last week, notice and warning.
I could have noticed that warning last week.
Yes, very easy, very simple. We could have noticed the warning last week. How about this one? Make this evening more effort. Make this evening more effort.
I could make more effort this evening.
Perfect. I could make more effort this evening. Listen to this one. Before the argument, use a calmer tone. Before the argument, use a calmer tone. What's argument?
Argumento, enfado, discusión.
Eso, yes, exactly. Very good. All right. So, what would you say then? Let me say that again so you remember. Before the argument, use a calmer tone.
I could have used a calmer tone before the argument.
Yes. Very good. Excellent. All right. Let's do another one. Let's see. A better shortcut now find. A better shortcut now find.
I could find a better shortcut now.
Yes, I could find a better shortcut now. And let's do one more. After dinner, the pressure reduce. After dinner, the pressure reduce.
I could reduce the pressure after dinner.
Yes, that's it. Could reduce the pressure after dinner. And last one. Before the setback, another plan prepare. Before the setback, another plan prepare.
I could have another plan prepared before the setback.
Can you say that again?
I could have another plan prepared before the setback.
Yes. I could have, and let's put the verb. I could have and the past participle.
I could have prepared.
Yes.
Another plan before the setback.
Exactly. That's how it is. Very good. Remember the order of the structure is could have and the past participle of the verb. All right. So really good. Now we're going to compare 2 ideas. One possibility is open and one possibility belongs to the past. All right. We're going to do that for the last few minutes. Same situation, different time. Listen, the problem is still small. The problem is still small. We could
solve it right now.
Yes, we could solve it. We could solve it right now. Very good. All right. The problem became serious yesterday. We could have
solved it yesterday.
Yeah, we could have solved it yesterday. Very good. Super easy, right? Let's do another one. There is still time to be honest. There's still time to be honest. He could
not have lied.
He could not have lied. Okay. He could have not lied. Or if we wanted to just use could, how about with making excuses? He could stop making excuses.
He could stop making excuses.
Yeah. All right. Very good. The risk is still manageable. The risk is still manageable. They could, if it's still manageable, maybe They could check the problem carefully. And now, last one, Dan. You tell me if it's open or closed, all right?
Okay.
We could follow the clue and check the problem. Is it an open possibility or is it closed?
It's an open possibility.
Yes, it's an open door. You could have avoided that excuse yesterday. Is it open or closed?
It's a closed.
It's a closed door. Yes. All right. How about this one? We could make an effort to communicate better. Open or closed?
Open.
Yes. Very good. All right. And that's it for today. Remember, could plus the verb keeps the possibility open. Could have plus the past participle looks back at the possibility that already passed. All right, so there you have it. We've talked about home possibilities and the difference between those two structures. All right, that's it for today. Coming up next is the Lunchtime Show with Andrea and Rob. And you and me will talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Estás escuchando Vaughan Radio.
Este verano, ¿quieres que tus hijos se diviertan, vivan 1000 aventuras y además ganen fluidez en inglés, rodeados de naturaleza y con los mejores monitores angloparlantes Vaughan? Tráelos a nuestro Vaughan Summer Camps. Hay 4 ubicaciones diferentes para que elijas tu mejor opción, con cabañas, actividades acuáticas, multiaventura, nuevos amigos y entornos increíbles donde aprenderán a resolver situaciones cotidianas en inglés sin darse cuenta. Más de 3.000 niños viven nuestras inversiones cada año. Encuentra tu mejor Summer Camp sin salir de España. Ahora también en la playa. Llámanos al 917001199 y contrata tu mejor camp.
Come to learn with us at Vaughan.
¿Te apuntas? El inglés que necesitas ahora por mucho menos. Llega al outlet de Vaughan con libros y cursos de autoestudio que siguen más vigente que nunca.
Objetivo Inglés, Vaughan Certified completo, Speak English Now e Inglés en 10 pasos.
Además, libros desde €1.
Novelas con audio desde $3.50.
Libros infantiles desde €3.
Y mucho más.
Entra en vaughantienda.com.
Vaughan Outlet, aprende más,
pagando menos, hasta agotar existencias.
Who's ready for our upcoming trivia night?
Ready to rock, Daddy.
Do you have the info?
Sure, it's Tuesday, June 2nd, at the Toast Tap Room, at 8 p.m., hosted by you.
Nos vemos el martes 2 de junio a las 8 de la tarde para el próximo Vaughan Trivia Night.
Be there, be square, amigos.
¿Quieres aprender inglés a tu propio ritmo y según tu horario? En Vaughan tenemos la solución perfecta para ti. Con las clases particulares online de Vaughan, disfrutarás de la máxima flexibilidad en tu aprendizaje del inglés. Tú eliges. ¿Prefieres centrarte en la conversación o en la gramática? No hay ningún problema. Con Vaughan puedes seleccionar la modalidad que más te convenga. Y no solo eso, sino que también tienes completa libertad para elegir el día, la hora y la duración de tus clases. ¿Solo tienes 25 minutos? Perfecto. En Vaughan nos adaptamos a ti. Visita grupovaughan.com hoy mismo y descubre cómo nuestras clases particulares pueden transformar tu forma de aprender inglés. Flexibilidad y calidad en la enseñanza del inglés a tu medida.
Una semana en un lugar apartado.
Nativos angloparlantes de todas partes del mundo, uno por cada estudiante.
Terminantemente prohibido hablar en español.
Actividades organizadas y conversaciones en inglés a todas horas. No exageramos.
Aquí o hablas inglés o hablas inglés.
Y da igual las veces que te lo